Hi, this is Tim Berg. I'm a Swedish house producer. I'm 21 years old. You might have heard my Armada release Bromance and the vocal edit Seek Bromance. Or you might have heard My Feelings For You or some of my other tracks. I actually just downloaded my sequencer one night when I was at my parents' cottage in like our no like on our summer vacation thing, and I had nothing to do, and I had trying to play the guitar and stuff like that for like 2 years, but I never got really good at it. And then I read on the internet about a program where you could paint your melodies. I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. So I kind of downloaded that and tried doing like a remix of an old track called Lazy Jones or Cancraft 400 combination. That one. So I tried to do a remix of that one, and it ended up not really being a remix, just an original. And then I kind of got stuck from that because it's so cold in Sweden for 8 months out of 12. So there's not that much to do. So you're kind of forced to find something to do. And I think DJing and production is the perfect thing for people kind of escape from the Swedish winter in a way. And because everyone has this dream to be able to travel the world, and since we've had so many people coming from Sweden who has been successful already, it doesn't feel that far-fetched to be able to make it, you know what I mean? Because people like Steve Angelo, Sebastian Grosso, Axwell, all of these other house producers have already made it. So it's so easy for people to be like, I could do that as well. You know what I mean? I think that's why there's so many people doing it in Sweden. I've been traveling this whole year, so I've been traveling even since before I released Bromance. So I haven't really been home much or been able to really think anything through. So I guess for me the biggest difference this year has been that the gigs have become better and more people know me and more people know my music. And when I release a preview now of one of my tracks, more people comment, more people get involved. So I guess that's more feedback, I would say, is the biggest difference. And it's so hard to tell which tracks are going to work and which tracks aren't going to work. And with Bromance, I didn't really feel like this is going to be you know what I mean? I didn't really feel that. And then people kind of started getting the feedback and people, oh, this is really good. I'm like, oh, cool. So I was surprised as well to see a lot of feedback. I had the melody from before, so I had the melody but in a different instrument, and it sounded completely different. So I had that in an old track, and I just kind of wanted to, because I really believed in the melody, so I kind of wanted to go back and redo it and try it with something else, because the first version I had, I didn't really feel like it was good enough, I think. So then I just, when I was on the road, I think it was in Canada actually, I played the first version of the track and it went really well, and a small a preview leaked on YouTube. So I kind of decided to go back and redo it and do it properly, and so I did, and started sending it around to different DJs, and they started supporting it, and then it just kind of went from there. We had the original for quite a while, and then a couple of French guys put it together with Amanda Wilson's vocals for an old track she did called The Love You Seek. So they kind of took the a cappella of that one and put it over on top of Bromance, and then it started getting a lot of views, just on YouTube. And then Ministry of Sound contacted us, and we were already gonna release the instrumental on Ministry, but then they say, hey, let's release it with the vocal. At first I was kind of against it, just because I have grown so attached to the original as an instrumental. But then I started listening a bit more to the Amanda Wilson vocals, and she resung it, and then it sounded great. So just kind of went from there. So we said okay, and they put everything in motion and put a video up and everything. So yeah, my manager is handling pretty much everything surrounding everything. He's helped me from the start with absolutely everything. He helped me with my my sound even from the start. We've been together for 2 years, so even from that he helped me develop myself and everything. So he handles like everything. So he's the one with the plan, not me. So I actually really like it not knowing, because then I can focus more on the music and I can focus more on touring, and I can focus more on that instead of worrying about all the gigs and worrying about, you know, everything. So for me it's very hard to produce on the road. I can do melodies, but I've actually found it's like the longer I stay away from home, so if I have a 1 month tour and then I get back to the studio, everything gets much more effective when I do get home. So I can get home and do 4 tracks in a week, just because I have so much built up, you know, from the tour, so much exactly, yeah, so much inspiration from all of these different experiences. So so far it haven't been that hard, but I can imagine in a year, you know, I haven't been touring. I've just been touring for a year now, so I'm really not at liberty to say anything about later. But for me, like, so far it's been good. I can listen to a track and I can hear one element that sounds really cool. I could be like, oh, it could be cool to do something like this, but you know what I mean? And then I could listen to like an old Ray Charles record, or I could just get a vibe from being somewhere, you know, like it's so, like, it doesn't have to be music, it's just you get from so many different, it's hard to explain, but you get it from everywhere really. Before I start, I kind of more know the vibe that I want to create, not really a melody. So then I kind of start playing around a bit with the keyboard, and like if I want to do something dark, I try something a bit more darker. And usually when I get an idea, it's not the melody, it's more of a thing in the track. So it's like, oh, it would be cool to do something with a pan flute, or it would be cool to do something with, you know, like something like that, you know what I mean? And then I kind of go from there, and then it has to be kind of happy, or it has to be kind of dark, or what, you know? Like I have a lot of stuff in the works, so hopefully something can live up to Bromance, but it's not like it's for everyone else. As I said, it's so hard when like what I produced. I don't really feel like, oh, this is as good as Bromance, or this is you know, because every track you do finish, you think is great. Otherwise, you wouldn't finish it, right? So it's really hard. You just have to kind of play around with it and play it on the gigs and see what people like more and see what people like less, and then see where it goes from that. But I hope so. You know.
Yeah.